I'm joined by some incredible guests from the Hydrex team. We have Base Jimbo here, Glee, and Austin Lee, or Be Awesome Lee. Super excited today, you guys. We are having a live stream to celebrate the surge from Hydrex. And we got some incredible guests joining us as well. We have Bill, Late Night on Bass, and Toady Hawk joining us shortly. So without further ado, I'd love to pass it around, and maybe we can kick off after intros with some music.
That sounds perfect. Thanks for having us, Rachel. Excited to talk to everyone about the surge. I'm Jimbo with Hydrex, the marketing and growth lead. I'll let Glee and Austin introduce themselves as well.
What's up, everybody?
Hey. Oh, go for it, Austin.
All right. Well, Austin Lee here, head of BD at Hydrex. So typically all things partnerships, and super excited to be here to jam out on what the surge is going to do for the growth angle in terms of BD.
Great. And I'm Garrett. I'm one of the co-founders of Hydrex. I focus on the solidity and back-end infrastructure, as well as wearing every hat as you do in a small startup. And I see we have Toady joining us. Hey, Toady, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Sorry I'm a little late.
The legend.
Hey, Toady.
Something like that. Nice to see you guys.
Good to see you, Toady. I just realized too, my colors are kind of coordinated with Betterment today.
I like it.
Not intentionally. Like I just saw his hat and I was like, wow, I got a Betterment vibe going on over here.
You're more better than better. It's amazing.
Toady, it's good to see you. Man, Toady and I did an incredible podcast. Got to hear more about Toady's story, his background getting into Web3, and just continues to impress me with his work at Betterment. And yeah, just happy to have you on the show today, Toady.
Amazing. I just did a stream with Jimbo yesterday too, so it's like the 6 degrees of streaming in here.
Let's go.
Yeah, it is.
Non-stop. You guys are streaming machines.
I was also editing it until like 1 a.m. yesterday, so I was like going to bed dreaming about Jimbo. So it's a little weird. But...
So hey, that's me every night. Don't worry.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited today. We have a big update from the Hydrex team, you guys. By the way, if you're tuning in, if you could take a moment to retweet, share this out with your network, we'd really appreciate getting more folks in here. And before we dive in, just want to do a quick disclaimer. Nothing here is financial advice. Encourage everybody watching to always do your own research. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. So, Jimbo, do you want to kick us off today and kind of give some color as to what we'll be going through?
Yeah, for sure. So as you hinted to, we just went live with our Hydrex Surge, which has been our largest set of enhancements to date. There's quite a bit to go over with them, just from a high level to give an overview. It really allows us to become a competitive DEX on Base and evolve from just being another project to being a Base DeFi primitive. So essentially, we're able to allow for concentrated liquidity positions to earn on Hydrex. This gives a lot more freedom to users, as well as allows larger liquidity providers to come into Hydrex and be able to manage their own liquidity. I'm going to toss it over to Glee on that if you want to add anything, because he's much more technical and can explain that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the middle of October, we basically published an article outlining what we saw as the next major steps for Hydrex, taking in competitor feedback, community feedback, our own internal feedback, with the ambition to become a much more buttoned up protocol instead of just a small project on Base. And this was a culmination of updates like our data dashboard that gives really key insights into the protocol and its performance. And then what Jimbo just mentioned, which is concentrated liquidity, which basically allows people to put liquidity over any range and receive rewards for it. Previously, you had to use an automated liquidity manager, which is a very narrow use case and very narrow type of liquidity provider. And that limited our options and the amount of people who were willing to use and participate and provide liquidity on Hydrex. We actually just had our first success story with this today. Somebody put in $2 million of wrapped ETH liquidity that they just wouldn't have been willing to do prior to the surge, and they just deposited like 3 hours ago, actually. So we're already seeing some incremental.
Hey, I was just waiting. I was just waiting for the right moment.
Wow.
Toady had his ledger lined up, ready to go.
Well, that was my hot wall.
Yeah, your MetaMask ready to drop. But Yeah, so we're super excited. I mean, that's, just a little over 24 hours after the surge went live. And that's the exact type of capital allocator we're looking at bringing to the table because a lot of these bigger participants want to be able to LP in their own way. And if we're not able to accommodate that, they're not going to choose Hydrex as where they're LPing.
Wow, it's incredible. And I want to show too, you guys released this little promo video. Just want to show this really quick.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, just cover. I mean, this is awesome here. Let me know if you guys can hear the volume. Yeah, this is awesome. Shout out to the Hydrex marketing team as well. I just think you guys have been doing an incredible job and bringing in like serious base builders, I would say, like Toady Hawk. Like I see you guys always collaborating with OGs in the base community. So I do, before we get too deep in the weeds here, I do want to talk to you guys about a giveaway that we have going today live for this stream. So Jimbo, do you want to share what the giveaway items are?
Yeah, so really excited for this. It's in a collaboration with Minted Merch, if people are familiar with them. I believe you did one with them, right? Yeah, there we go.
This is a Minted Merch piece.
Yeah, I've seen that on the
Represent.
I'm taking notes.
I know they do such a good job of not only providing quality products, but working with really cool teams to help get their communities those high quality merch items. So we have a limited edition one we did with the Surge, which is a really cool black on black Hydrex sweatshirt. Let me see if I can pull it up. But yeah, we're going to be giving away a few of them during the stream. And did you want to go over the requirements for that, Rachel? I know you have them written down.
So the first thing, if you guys are tuned in, you're going to go ahead and retweet the stream, you guys. Retweet the stream. Follow Hydrex, On-Chain Media, Rachel On-Chain, and Toady Hawk. Where can folks connect with you as well?
Yeah, at Toady_Hawk here, and then over on the base app and Farcaster, it's at ToadyHawk.eth. Got to rep the .eth over there,
Awesome. So retweet the stream, follow everybody here, follow Hydrex, and then comment with a screenshot showing that you've staked. So this might be a good segue, Jimbo, to actually go through and maybe show people how to stake on Hydrex.
Yeah, let's do it. Here, let me share my screen
Awesome.
real quick.
Yeah, shout out to the community, everyone who's tuning in the comments, GM.
Yeah, so just real quick, wanted to give a shout out to Minted Merch here with our limited edition merch here. So yeah, make sure to comment your stake position and retweet and follow so we can give these out to people. Really excited for that.
Yeah, and
Yep.
if you don't mind going back to that, Jimbo, just to clarify, there's two colorways. There's black, which is available for anybody who wants to purchase just on the open market, and then there's Surge, which is a lot more expensive, and that's because we don't allow anybody to buy that. There's only 5 of these that are ever
Wow.
going to be made in existence. It's a very subtle difference, but it uses the dark navy blue Hydrex Surge colorway. And yeah, the 5 winners of today's giveaway will be the ones to acquire those rare
Let's
pieces
go.
of Hydrex history.
Looks rare. Looks rare.
Unless
Look,
a
it
whale
looks
gets
super
in there.
rare.
Unless Toady gets
Yeah,
in there.
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put all my liquidity into Hydrex this morning, so none left for hoodies.
I love it. Yeah, those are gonna look cool. I'm excited to get one of the black on black ones.
Yeah,
you
that'll be
guys.
great.
So if you're watching, you can walk away today with some Hydrex merch. I see some people in the comments. Shout out to Callie. We got Easton there, Hope, Dan the Man Hendrickson. I know my mini app developer definitely appreciates some good merch. Shout out to Dan. So yeah, you guys, just to reiterate the giveaway, you retweet, follow Hydrex, On-Chain Media, Rachel On-Chain, myself, and Toady Hawk, and comment with a screenshot showing that you've staked on Hydrex. And I think we're now getting into the portion where we're actually going to show you guys how to stake on Hydrex.
Let's do it. So when you come to the Hydrex page, and for anyone who needs the URL, it's hydrex.fi. Then you can navigate over to the Earn tab here. And so these show all of our staking pools that users can stake liquidity in to start earning. Obviously, when you come to a site, you'll need to connect your wallet first. Be the first step of doing that. And then from there, you can go through to select the pools to see which one you want to stake in. So very
I
popular.
heard the
one.
better pool is really popular.
The better pool is good.
Yeah.
Let's walk through that one.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Let's go.
Someone made a BTC pair.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
interesting.
Yeah, so when you come in here, for any of the pools you want to stake in, obviously you want to stake in the better pair. You can go to deposit, and these will bring up the liquidity staking options. So there's a couple of options here, as we said at the top. So you have your manual, which allows you to set the ranges. But if you want a more hands-free way of doing it, we have single-sided. And the really nice thing about this is it allows you to stake with just one token. And then from there, it creates the LP and then manages it for you automatically. So you don't have to worry about it going out of range. You don't have to worry about rebalancing. And you can always earn with those. So if you want to get that set up, you would just click and you have your better tokens. You can stake those in there, or you can do it on the wrapped ETH side. And you can also stake with any token you want, which is really nice. So if you had some other ones and you wanted to stake, get them converted to better and get those in there, you can always do that. But with our manual, which is really cool, you can come into this interface and set up the range that you want to have for it. So it looks like a lot. There's obviously, this is a lot more technical, but we have select ranges for users. So if you just want it to be hands-free, you don't want to worry about rebalancing or setting a price range, you can go to full. And then from there, you can set it more narrow to get it, which will increase the earning amount. Also, there's risk with that, so always do your own research. But we have in our docs as well a full walkthrough and disclaimer on all of this of how it works. But once you're in there, you just put in your tokens, and then you can deposit, and then you'll start earning.
Awesome. And I see some folks getting excited about this giveaway out there. So yeah, it's super simple, you guys. Just hop on, what's the website? Hydrex.fi, Hydrex.fi, and you can get started today with staking.
And we're also fully functional in Farcaster and the base app. So if you have the mini app, you can do it as well in there. Do everything you can do on Hydrex desktop through the mini apps.
And
Yeah,
I
we're
also
ready
just
for,
want to comment. You guys are very aligned, I feel like, with the base ecosystem. I feel like the decisions you've made and the direction of Hydrex, like it just seems very aligned with base, Coinbase, and their goals as an ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's our kind of motto as a team and an organization is we're comfortably attached to the hip of base. A lot of people, like to keep their options open and say like, oh, how do we prepare for a multi-chain future? And how do we, accommodate all these different needs? We think base and the base chain is kind of the Apple of blockchains. It's a system that has a lot of refined user experience and tooling that is really good for builders who build to optimize for it, because you can build products that you just can't build other places. So we're doing everything in our wheelhouse that we can to really optimize towards the base ecosystem. From day one, we had a base mini app or Farcaster mini app. We support sub accounts, flash blocks, and all of that tooling. And then we've even done some larger campaigns like our Zora Creator Coin program, where we're trying to help fix the incentive alignment issues that sort of come up with the creator coin scenarios across Zora. So,
oh my God, we should talk about that a little bit, because I think that's a great topic to dive into.
Well, yeah, so I have an example that's my favorite example of Zora Creator Coin incentive misalignment. Basically, there was this Instagram influencer, Alabama Barker, has 1 million influencers on Instagram. She created a Zora account, and she got everybody excited. The Zora team's excited. You got this big influencer on your platform. They're talking about their creator coin, all of this stuff. She basically gets people to acquire
Travis
some
Barker's
of her creator
daughter,
coin.
right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually found that out last night when I was telling somebody else this story.
Wow.
Funny enough. But
That's
she
crazy.
created the coin.
Fun fact, you guys, I met Travis Barker and his son at a Six Flags one time.
No way.
Yeah,
what are the
randomly,
odds?
Long time ago.
What are the odds? That's hilarious.
I feel like a lot of people know who she is because they have a wife who watches the Kardashians.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, but anyways, Miss Barker came and got in the Zora ecosystem, got everybody excited. And the way Zora kind of frames a lot of things up is you have this token worth this market cap, and the most fiscally viable thing for the creator to do is to sell their token into the market, which hurts all of their supporters who have acquired that token in an effort to support them. So basically, Hydrex was like, well, we need to create options where creator coins can earn yield from their tokens instead of relying on selling on the open market. So we created this program that uses some of the single-sided staking technology that Jimbo just shared and allows creators to now deposit their assets into Hydrex to provide liquidity in a really simplified, sort of influencer-friendly way and earn yield as a result. So the new financially viable option or financially strategic option for them is to work with Hydrex to accrue yield instead of sell their token on the open market and hurt their participants. So um, yeah, it's definitely something we're excited about and we think adds a lot of value to the creator coin economy and helps fix some of the incentive alignment issues we've seen come up.
I think that sounds like I think it's very good that you guys have chosen that because I've heard a lot of like mixed views basically around creator coins. So I think the fact like first of all, creator coins, I was just talking about this yesterday with Quigley, if you guys know Quigley. Creator coins aren't going anywhere, right? So the fact that you guys are prioritizing like adjusting the incentive alignments and like fixing some of the problems, I think that's a very good thing you're doing for the ecosystem because they're not going anywhere. So
Yeah, I agree. And I think it plays into our larger vision, which is we want to be the home for any asset on base. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a really bespoke creator coin or it's some unordinary pair or it's not even an asset on a DEX. We want to be able to create the infrastructure to provide liquidity for that and help source liquidity for those things. And that's really what the Hydrex Surge and these updates are all about.
I love that
that's
you
an
guys are. I love that you guys are thinking about that because I feel like a lot of the discourse around content coins and creator coins kind of ignores the entire tokenomics side of things. Like it's just like hands in your ears, don't think about it. But the reality is like they are tokens, and you do have to think about your token holders. And I know Jimbo and I have talked about this about how important it is to teach people how to be creative with their tokens, and like you don't just have to dump your token on your community's head. I know people love to like rage bait with that with that on X,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not really earning because I'm earning, Toady Hawk coin, and how am I gonna turn that into liquid funds? But like if you get a little creative and you use those funds on Hydrex or you use them on Betterment or any of these other tools that exist to be able to leverage those tokens and turn them into distribution, then it's a completely different story.
Totally agree. Yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like tokens are really powerful tools that we're at the very early stages of figuring out all the applications and use cases and ways in which we can make them viable. And yeah, we're committed to experimenting alongside Base and, in the direction they start pursuing, we want to be there supporting them and we want to be there aligning ourselves because we think Base has got a lot of room to grow, growing 100x from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's crazy to think like base has been around for a minute now, but we're still so early. I think there's still so much to come. And I am excited about the new year as well. I think 2026 is going to be a big year. Now, I do want to rewind a little bit back to the surge, back to this new launch you guys are doing. So, who is this designed for? Like, who is Hydrex and the surge designed for? Users, creators, builders? Like, who is the person that this was made for?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that unless Jimbo or Austin, you want to step in?
Yeah, I'm happy to step in
Go
and
for it.
answer this one. So yeah, I mean, really the Hydrex Surge at the end of the day is to provide optionality for different folks within the base ecosystem to be able to come in and work with Hydrex. So for example, I think Garrett gave a great example with the LP portion of that. So with LPs, for example, um, using different ALM strategies were great and made things easy for users to come in and be able to provide liquidity into those different pools. Now, it did prevent some folks from participating in Hydrex to earn those Hydrex emissions. And being able to incentivize those manual positions really allows everyone to choose their strategies and how they want to earn with those different types of LPs. And I think that's really the start with the Hydrex Surge, right? We've recently integrated Euler as a lending market to be able to support assets that are looking for not just DEX liquidity, but also looking for supply side liquidity when it comes to those lending markets. So we've integrated Morpho, we just integrated Euler. We actually have the number one market on Euler on base at the moment, which is great to see. And I think we'll continue to really standardize and optionalize these opportunities and work with other folks to help them bootstrap liquidity across base. So we're not just looking at particular assets and particular pairs, but we know that liquidity needs are typically very custom and specific from protocol to protocol. And so that's where we want to really be able to provide anybody a custom liquidity solution to help bootstrap the markets that they're looking to get started.
It's incredible. And I am curious, like with all of this, how the surge is fitting into the broader vision here for Hydrex, like long term.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of what Austin alluded to. We want to be a hub where whatever your liquidity needs are, whether that's bootstrapping a lending network for a new token you have, whether that's getting liquidity for your tradable asset, whether that's a perps dex or a prediction market, we want to be a hub where anybody can kind of systematically and programmatically plug in to our incentive streams and deploy incentives to help solve the cold start problem for whatever their situation is. We see it time and time again. A lot of builders just need like that initial push to start getting users. Base is all about and constantly preaches like distribution is the biggest value proposition that they give a lot of their builders. And we want to work with that in tandem. So our long-term vision is basically like creating this orchestration layer so that we can coordinate liquidity needs for whatever the participants need. And then additionally, the surge plays into that where it allows us to tap into manual liquidity needs. So it's another sort of key pillar in how we're sourcing and acquiring liquidity for our end users at the end of the day. And it makes it way, way more efficient too. Our prior liquidity efficiency was not nearly as high as it's going to be as it is with the surge.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like creating something that's more efficient and user first, right? Like it sounds like you guys are really building with the user experience in mind as well. And Tony, I'm curious to hear from your perspective, you know, like having Betterment now collaborating with Hydrex, like what your thoughts are on all of this.
Yeah, so Jimbo and I talked about this when I chatted with him yesterday on our live, but I think a lot of people don't consider that liquidity is a type of distribution in a way. And so that was a priority for us. It's just like we launched our token, the Better token. At the same time, we launched our mini app, which was almost 8 months ago now. And we launched it with Clanker. And so it has its like standard deployed liquidity on Uniswap, like all Clankers do. But we wanted to sort of expand that profile to include, you know, other platforms and people that might look other places, and especially liquidity providers who might, you know, want to provide liquidity outside of Uniswap. So, you know, to do that over the last 8 months, we've added additional pools on Uniswap. We've imported our Clanker token on the Flaunch platform, and then we spoke with Hydrex, and when they said that it was available for us to do a listing with them, it was pretty refreshing to hear, because some of the V3 options out there, they require a certain minimum amount of volume or certain minimum market cap to even talk to you about listing your token. And so it was really refreshing to have them, you know, come to me basically and say, you know, we see your token as a great base token with a good community. We'd be happy to set you up. And they literally like handheld and walked me through the process of getting Better listed there. Same thing when the surge went live here too. You know, these guys again held my hand and explained how that was going to change and how to set it up best. And so been really impressed with the white glove service that we've received for our token from them so far. And also, like, aside from that, it's been really great. It's attracted a bunch of new liquidity for our token. I think last I checked, it was like over $70,000 worth of liquidity that had been attracted over the past 6 to 7 weeks for our token. And our token, is market cap is around 500K, and our liquidity is about 200K. So that's a significant amount of liquidity we have available for the token. And then we're also earning. We're also earning for providing that liquidity too on our end. So it's been a great experience.
That's incredible. And so it sounds like it's brought liquidity to Betterment. I'm curious from a community perspective, because I see Hydrex, we talked about this as being very base aligned, right? I'm curious, Tody, from your perspective, because you're someone who's very active in the community. How do you see this as something helping the base community?
Well, I think, Jimbo covered this earlier in some ways, but like just deepening liquidity and incentives available to all protocols on Base is really important. And like, if Base does grow 100x, 1000x from here, then there's plenty of room for all of the different protocols and providers to help thicken that liquidity across the ecosystem. So, yeah, I think it just makes sense.
Absolutely. And I do want to open it back up to the Hydrex team here, talking about the community, how this is helping people in the Base ecosystem. How does Hydrex balance UX, efficiency, and on-chain transparency?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, just want to say, yeah, we're always happy to be working with you, Tody. It's been awesome. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, we all win together, especially on Base. That's such a positive ecosystem of everybody wanting to collaborate and grow. And you see every day there's just so much more coming to Base in terms of what they have on chain. And then, like today we saw Tron's going to be coming over to Base as well. And you also saw it with Solana. So there's just so much coming to Base. And there's not going to be a liquidity hub that can serve all of them, which is really where Hydrex came about. It's like there's going to be so many different liquidity needs we can't even think of now. But we want Hydrex to be that hub that we can help serve everyone and help them get liquidity, help them grow, and just help the overall Base ecosystem come together.
Absolutely. And, I've seen you guys very active. You've been collaborating with other creators. You've been on Tody's stream. So clearly you guys have prioritized creators, right? Supporting creators in the community, including myself. So I'm curious, we lightly touched on the creator program that you guys are doing. Do you guys want to share any more details or maybe any calls to action? Like if somebody's watching this and they're a creator, like how can they get more involved with Hydrex?
Yeah, so anyone who's a creator, who has a Zora coin or any projects that are looking for liquidity, I know Austin can speak better to this, but yeah, if they want to reach out, we're always happy to help see what we can do for them, see what service makes the most sense, and help them get liquidity set up. But I don't know if you want to touch on that anymore, Austin.
Yeah, of course. I think the best way to reach out is we have a partnership form in our docs. That would be the best way to reach out. We usually follow up within a few hours of somebody submitting that. Or if anybody wants to reach out to me directly on Telegram, it's BAwesomeLee. Always happy to chat and find a way to work together for those different creators. But yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you guys are in the live stream chat right now, go ahead and drop your questions. If you're a creator, if you're someone who's looking to get involved, or if you're just, trying to stake and use Hydrex, feel free to drop your comments or questions in the chat. So, on the topic of creator coins and, getting the community participating here, what does success look like for creators using this program?
Success for me is when we fix the incentive alignment, right? When it's like, oh, I'm a creator. The smartest thing for me to do is work with Hydrex and stake my creator coin instead of dumping it on all my followers. I feel like it's a pretty direct end result that we're seeking. It's like, hey, how can we deepen your liquidity? How can we create use cases for your coin, not just for yourself, but for your community who has purchased that coin? And how can we make that the most no-brainer option for you and your community to do, which ultimately helps us, it helps Hydrex, it helps the protocol, it helps our voters, it helps the creators. It's truly a win-win-win architecture that we've built here. So success for us is just more people onboarding, more people using the program, and more people on-ramping their creator coins into Hydrex.
I love it. And Tody, I don't know if you have any thoughts here. I know you've been a big proponent of the new creator economy. You know, Zero Rights Media. Like you've been really in the trenches creating for as long as I've known you.
Yeah, I kind of touched on it a bit earlier, but I really believe that people need to think outside the box, and that goes for both creators and for builders who may have app coins or creator coins, and just think that there are other ways, like I kind of mentioned earlier, to extract value from the token without extracting from your community. You can leverage these tokens to build up your distribution. If you're not on Farcaster yet, you should get on Farcaster because there's all sorts of interesting protocols and projects being built, like Betterment, the mini app that we're building, that allow you to sort of use your tokens and build up your distribution in both sense of the word, by like distributing your tokens in like a micro distribution way to high quality wallets, and also just like distribution in like the Web 2 sense of the word, meaning like just eyeballs on your project, on your content. And so I think we're very aligned with what Hydrex is doing, obviously in very different realms. They're working in liquidity, and ours is like a content collecting game. But in both cases, they kind of have the same philosophy of like, let's use the power of the liquidity of these tokens to incentivize, to micro incentivize our users and our communities to help us grow.
That's amazing. And since, you know, we're talking about Betterment, this has been a big focus of yours as of lately. Do you want to show Tody Betterment at all? Maybe show like what it is you can do with Betterment and kind of give like the TLDR for, you know, some people that might be learning about this for the first time.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a second here and I'll try to pull it up on.
Sure. And
share
I want to
screen.
give a shout out. I see my team out there in the comments. Shout out to the On-Chain Media team. I see Pixel, Callie. Happy Friday, everybody who's tuning in. And I'm excited to see who's going to win this merch, you guys.
Let's see, screen share. Is that the right one? I think.
There we
should have
go.
it. Oops, that's not the right one. There we go. Okay, let me know if you can see the mini app. I just popped it open. On desktop, unfortunately, the sound doesn't work, but you can actually see this is the round that we had today. I guess I should explain what Betterment is for people who are watching. So Betterment is a mini app that turns supporting on-chain builders and creators into a gamified experience inside of a mini app. It's kind of like an HQ trivia sort of model where we have 3 live rounds every week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. EST with a pretty big prize pool, but it's limited. So like if you don't get in quickly to collect the piece of content or do the on-chain action, spin the wheel and win your variable reward, then you'll miss that round and you'll have to wait for the next one. We sometimes do bonus rounds as well. So there's like 3 to 4 rounds per week that you can catch. And the only way to make sure you do catch them is by signing up for Farcaster or the base app and installing the app and putting notifications on. Today we had a bit of a special round actually, because I'm not sure if any of you logged into Farcaster today, but our token and app were featured as the Clanker Spotlight. This is a new initiative by the Farcaster team to spotlight sort of Lindy clankers, so clanker tokens that have been launched and have been building for a while. So it was nice to get featured, and to celebrate that, we decided to do a big free round where everybody that spun for free would win some better. And I was kind of hoping to be able to show that on this stream and let people go and do it, but unfortunately, we put like $4,000 worth of better into the prize pool, and it was gone within 35 minutes. So people never underestimate people's desire to spin and win. But in a normal round, I'll just show you what a normal round looks like. We have a demo set up so you can kind of see what a round looks like. So normally you kind of show up here, you get the music. It's a bit of a retro casino aesthetic vibe or arcade vibe. You collect a piece of content. You spin. A little bit of dopamine. And then you win a prize.
I feel like I was
Thank
just
you.
Teleported to Las Vegas or something.
Yeah, so that's kind of how the app works, and it's a very simple app, but it works well. It was inspired by some of the protocols like Boost Protocol, Boost.xyz, and Layer 3, which kind of pioneered the idea of using tokens as sort of incentive pools to sort of encourage people to mint content or to do any kind of on-chain action. But the idea was like, what if we could like concentrate all that incentive into one event inside of a mini app so that people put it in their calendar and don't forget to come and do it. And it's that sort of thesis has proved out pretty well. We have a pretty rabid community of better believers as we call them, that basically never miss a round. And we get the chance to partner with all sorts of interesting content creators and projects who are looking to build up their distribution on Farcaster and TBA, looking to distribute their token out to high quality wallets that they can be assured are not bots. And so there's kind of like this win-win-win mechanism where we're able to, support these builders, support creators, get them paid, and also, get broader distribution for projects that are looking for a foothold in the growing Farcaster and TBA ecosystem.
Well, I'm so excited, and you guys, I want to do more content around Betterment. I feel like
We should.
what Toadi's doing for the ecosystem, and also like all the creators and people you collaborate with. I mean, you're like an old hat in the crypto space at this point, man. I mean, coming up in the Nouns community, I feel like I just always see you collaborating with really awesome people. And you guys, if you go to the Onchain Media YouTube, you can actually see a full episode that I did with Toady here. And we went over a lot of things. We talked about his journey through Nouns as a creator, like his background. So if you guys want to go deeper,
Wasn't this like 6 years ago? Oh no, it was only 2
this
months.
was-
Never
yeah,
mind.
six
It feels-
crypto years, 6 crypto years. So yeah, you guys, if you want to hear more about Toadi's story, you could check out this podcast episode. And yeah, I'd love to like get this on Betterment somehow. Like I know we talked about that
We should.
during the pod, but that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so if we did that, that's a great way to sort of explain how it works. If we were to feature Rachel's podcast on Betterment, we would just have it minted somewhere. We feature it in the app for the day. People come in, they collect her podcast. Maybe they follow her and check out who she is. They spin, they win some tokens. And then maybe we can give out some of Rachel's creator coin as part of the prizes. So we get, a chance to distribute that out to people who are actually collecting her content. And then the most important part is that, people are paying to spin that wheel, and we're splitting half of the revenue coming in from those spins with the creator. So Rachel's going to actually make, $500 or $600 in ETH just for having her content featured on the app. So I think we need to see more people like experimenting with different ways to leverage their tokens, like creator tokens or other tokens, to create real revenue for creators. Because for most people, just earning volume off of creator coins isn't enough yet. Like I think we're still in the early stages of the experiment, and maybe we get there. But for now, like we need people like what we're doing and building like interesting scaffolding and ways that you can earn and get paid for your creativity, like Betterment and like Hydrex.
Totally. And yeah, so I did want to touch on some Hydrex things here as well. And thank you so much, Toady, for sharing. And excited.
Yeah,
to
thanks
get
for the opportunity. It was fun.
The pod episode on there. So, okay, diving deeper into the world of Hydrex, for those of you who might be learning for the first time, I want to touch on some of the things that kind of differentiates you guys, right? Like swap rates, infrastructure. Like, is it true Hydrex offers some of the best swap rates on base? And, I'm also curious how Hydrex sources liquidity and optimizes routes.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for the breakdown, Tony. Super cool seeing that. And yeah, gonna have to do some spinning and digging in myself. And great question, Rachel. Yes, one of my favorite things about Hydrex, which I feel like we forget to share sometimes, is what we call our based swap guarantee. Basically, the guarantee works like this. If you can find a rate on Hydrex versus another decentralized exchange, this is anywhere. This is the Base app, this is Farcaster, this is Airdrome, this is Uniswap, anywhere that is better on the competitor exchange versus Hydrex, and you can execute it on Hydrex at a worse rate, we will give you 2 times the difference. So if you're expected to
Wow.
get $100 of the output asset on Uniswap and 95 on Hydrex, we will pay you $10 for being able to show that and execute it. To date, we've had this campaign live for about 3 months. To date, we have paid out 0 claims, and we've had one person submit a claim and then about 2 seconds later say, "Oh, my bad, I looked at it wrong." So
Someone needs
we
to make one of
just-
those like TLC shows, like the extreme couponers, but the on-chain edition, where they
Yeah.
like
Wow.
figure out a way to screw Hydrex out of their rebate. Yeah.
we're actually kind of waiting for somebody to like find a workaround,
the
but nobody
system.
has yet. We're like kind of excited because we want to know where we can improve on that particular facet, and nobody's really been able to do it. So we're like, all right, that's totally fine. So yeah, somebody in the community was joking about it the other day, but Yeah, so that's our sort of guarantee. The way in which we facilitate that is we basically use an aggregator of aggregator approach. So we have our own internal proprietary routing system, and then we also look at every other router out there, whether it's Kyber Swap, Odos, ZeroX, whatever the case is, and then we pick the best route, and we never, never, never add any fees on top. Hydrex does not have a front end fee and will
Wow.
never have a front end fee. We believe swapping is
I'm
a
curious to
commodity.
dive deeper into that. Yeah, like why you guys made that decision. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're a small protocol and we have to be as competitive as possible. And when we see margin that other protocols are taking, we have to exercise that as our opportunity, the old Bezos adage. So we believe swapping is a commodity. Users have so many different places to swap. They're getting a user to move platforms and pay a higher price on a newer exchange is just not really possible. You got to be kind of crazy to think you can sort of remove users from that situation and upcharge them. So we take the approach in general that we just want to do whatever the best thing is for the user. On our swap page, that's us allowing the lowest swaps with no front end fee ever. On our liquidity page, we allow for liquidity on Hydrex. We allow for liquidity on Uniswap. We allow you to earn yield in Morpho markets, Euler markets, like Austin mentioned. Whatever the best yield source is for the user and wherever the user can get that yield, we want to be able to offer it as well. So our overarching thesis is if we want to be competitive, we need to constantly do things that are good for the end user. Otherwise, they're going to go and participate in other places, and we just can't afford that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Like you guys are kind of looking across the ecosystem to see where you can improve, how you can do better. And I really love your guys' determination and grit. It just sounds like you guys are really primed to have a good year ahead in 2026. And I was looking through more things on Hydrex and I saw the Anchor Club. I don't know if you guys want to touch on the Anchor Club at all or any other elements of the Hydrex universe here, but if you'd like to, maybe you could touch on what the Anchor Club is and who it's for and what role it plays in the Hydrex ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. So, at a high level, every mechanic in the Hydrex protocol is designed to do one thing, and that's to force or encourage, I should say, long-term alignment in the protocol, right? If we don't have long-term alignment in the protocol isn't going to work. We do this in a lot of different ways. For instance, a lot of V33 protocols are sort of breed of protocol, have temporary locking of the tokens. We encourage people to permanently lock their tokens through burning. We burnt the majority of the Hydrex supply as a result of this. We do a lot of other things that encourage this long-term behavior, and the Anchor Club is no exception. It's basically an amplifier or a boost program that rewards people who are willing to do long-term aligned things. These things are uh, two or three different things depending on how you look at it. The first is locks. People who acquire Hydrex off the open market and then lock it into the protocol receive a series of 5 boosts on that over a year, which means if they're willing to lock their tokens after they acquire them on the open market, they're able to get a much higher multiplier of earning power and rewards as a result than they would if they unlock early or do something else. And then the other thing is we give tokens as a form of yield when you provide liquidity on Hydrex. You can generally do two things with any yield generated token. That's liquidate it or lock it slash use it. If people opt into a system that automatically locks their tokens on Hydrex, then we give them a boost on the earning power they get as a result of that. So if you're participating in Hydrex in long-term minded ways, we want to encourage that and we want to make sure you're getting rewarded adequately for that. All of that wraps up into the Anchor Club program where people earn Anchor Club credits, which allow them to have these sort of boosted earning power that we mentioned.
Awesome. And Jimbo, Austin, I'm not sure if you guys have anything else you want to add or jump in with.
Yeah, no, the Anchor Club has been great, and I think it's been a great way for people both who are deep in the ecosystem versus just coming in for the first time can really get that meaningful earning power. because 100% of the protocol revenue goes to token lockers every week. So it's a really powerful way to just to give back and allow people to get that permanent earning power within the protocol. Because also all of our team allocations are permanently locked. None of the team received liquid tokens from the launch. So we're completely aligned with users to where we're not going to be successful unless the protocol itself is successful. And the Anchor Club just allows people to get a deeper cut of everything that Hydrex does. And we also have, if you get to 50,000 Anchor Club credits, we have a private Discord channel where users can come in. You get a special tag in the Discord. It's been really cool just seeing people grow within the community and come to that. We'll also have some other non-financial perks as well for the Anchor Club. We've been working on a NFT collection that the community has given feedback for, and that'll be live in 2026. So that'll be a cool little way for everyone who's participated in Hydrex to be able to get those exclusive NFTs.
Wait, so can you repeat that one more time, just for anyone that wants to get involved here before 2026?
Yeah. So do you just mean for what they can get, or how they can get
Yeah,
involved?
like how they can get involved and do that before 2026. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go back in the video, it would be a good way to show, but you can click automate on here. You can go forward a little bit, but on the earn page that I showed, when you're setting up your pools, you can set up an automate button, and that'll allow you to get that 250% protocol account boost on all of your earnings. So we make it super easy for everyone to get in. Yeah, and also there, once you have your account set up, you can go ahead and activate it, and that'll allow you to get that boost. Or also, once you're on our page, there's an Anchor Club icon in the top right, and you can click on that to see a breakdown of all of your Anchor Club earnings, as well as you can get your automation set up there. And also there's referrals open too. So you can refer new users, and then you will both get a bonus for them if they automate their earnings. So it's a really good way to not only help yourself get more, but help all of your friends.
Awesome. And where can people go to join the referral program? Like, where would you do you want to show maybe the flow, how they can get started?
Sure, let me get that pulled up for you. And while I do that, I don't know if Glee or Austin want to add anything else.
I just want to say, from a partnership standpoint, we've actually had quite a few partners be able to join the Anchor Club by seeding liquidity and then locking their Hydrex emissions. So great to see partners also have that long-term alignment. And I think it's been pretty fruitful for those that have come in early for the Hydrex ecosystem, and definitely looking to continue to grow those relationships with the 30 plus partners that we've had come on board since the inception of Hydrex.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And that's the nice thing too, is that, Hydrex is for everyone. So while users can get in, partners can also get in as well. And just, it really helps with the flow of the flywheel because, as partner projects, if you have liquidity that's staked on Hydrex through a pool and you get that, the protocol account earning power, you can use that to constantly direct emissions to your pool every week. So it really helps partners as well to win from the Anchor Club. But
And
coming in here,
real quick on the topic of partners too, I'd love to share somewhere in all this how more B2B relationships can be formed with Hydrex if other projects want to connect.
yeah. So Austin, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, of course. Really, in terms of partnerships, I would say we really have three types of partners that we're looking to support at this moment. So the first would be if they're looking to get DEX liquidity seeded for those different types of LPs. We have a few different programs that we can help support some of those projects come in and be able to bootstrap and grow their liquidity. The second thing I would say for partnerships is more of those asset issuers. So some of these bigger players who may already have DEX liquidity, but they're looking to get lending markets stood up, that can be a very difficult challenge to get a lending market stood up, because most of the time you need some supply side to be able to borrow against it. And so with Hydrex, we can work together again and get those lending markets stood up with that V33 flywheel. And then the last piece would be more of like the funds who have large amounts of capital that they're looking to deploy. I can't say anything just yet, but we're going to be working on a bigger partner program for some of those different LPs to come in who are interested in depositing a sizable allocation. So yeah, whether you're somebody looking to get DEX liquidity for your token, whether you're looking to deposit your liquidity into different types of markets, or if you're looking to get a lending market stood up, I say those would probably be the three big pieces. In the future, I think in Q1, maybe Q2 in 2026, we'll also be doing new integrations, and we have a few partners that are lined up that will be able to tap into the Hydrex flywheel and essentially bring some liquidity and TVL over to those markets. Because I think that's at the end of the day, liquidity is the lifeblood of DeFi. And if we're able to support that, bootstrap it, and help it sustain, it really supports those projects being able to focus on the things that they do best and really not have to worry about how they're going to source all that liquidity.
I love it. So if you're watching right now, if you're a project that's interested in getting involved with Hydrex, again, I feel like all of this comes back to the ethos, the core, like powering behind Hydrex. You guys are doing things that are good for the entire ecosystem, for projects, for individuals, and I love that philosophy behind Hydrex, that you're trying to like progress the ecosystem forward collectively with other projects as well.
Yeah, I always say that we either thrive together or die alone. DeFi is composable for that reason. And if we're all trying to build in silos and building our own islands, we're not going to work together. So at the end of the day, I think it's that base motto of building a bridge.
I love that. I feel like I've heard Glee say something similar on our GPM stream. Like, yeah, just go further together.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the fun of crypto and DeFi is it's just completely modular and people are able to integrate openly with one another and the things that can come out of that are super impressive most of the time and end up being a better net result. You know, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole or
Did you say
whatever it is.
better? I heard you say
Yeah, I
better.
said better.
Tony just like
Always better.
Yeah, so Jimbo, we were starting to show like, getting people set up on the referral program. Do we want to bring it back to that?
Let's do it. Yeah, I can share it real
Awesome.
quick.
Yeah, I know we got some people in the comments here. I see Callie who's out there. He's got some questions. We'll come back to Callie after this, but yeah, I got a lot of people in the comments I think that would really be interested in learning more about this.
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing I wanted to showcase here, we always have people asking about dark mode. So I wanted to show that off because the devs, they did put a lot of work into it. It looks really sleek. I love the white on blue, but it does blind the eyes sometimes. So anyone who wants to switch to that, it's up under settings once you connect, as well as all of our more advanced settings for users. But once you're connected, you can go here to see all of your Anchor Club things under the Anchor Club icon in the top right. And this little hub here allows you to do everything from learning more about it, to go to the docs to get a full breakdown on everything you can do with the Anchor Club, to setting up your automations as we talked about. And the nice thing is this sets it up for all of your pool positions. So with one push through, you can do everything. And then also down here is where you get the referrals. So you get your own specific link that you can create here. You can also set a refer. So if you have an account or you're starting one and someone gives you a link, you can set it here as well to make it easier. But once you do that, for everyone you refer, they'll get an extra 25% Anchor Club credits as well as you. So it's the best way to really spread the word of Hydrex and get in. And there's never been a better time to get into Hydrex, I like to say, especially with the surge, because it just opens up the amount of ways people can earn and how they can maximize those Anchor Club credits. And then once you've earned them, they run on automations once per day. You'll see them here, and then you can convert them at any time. So it's all within this little hub, and it makes it really easy for all the users.
Wow, you guys. So if you're watching this, there are a lot of ways to get involved with Hydrex here today, you guys. You could join the Anchor Club, become a referrer of Hydrex. And, with the surge, that just opens up so many more doors now for you to earn within this ecosystem. So I am curious, okay, for everyone tuning in, right? Individuals, projects, what are the top ways here today that they can get started? Also, by the way, you guys, if you haven't done the giveaway, we are giving away merch at the end of this live stream. So if you haven't retweeted, go ahead and do that and screenshot that you've showed you've staked. So Jimbo, do you want to cover the top ways like today people can get involved with Hydrex?
Yeah. So as you said, it is from a few different angles. So from a user standpoint, users can come in and you can start earning immediately just by creating your own pool position. We also, I know coming into these protocols, it's not always, if you haven't done a lot of DeFi, it's not always the easiest to understand how to do everything. So we actually have in our docs, we have full video guides for users that helps walk them through not only what the Hydrex protocol does, but also guides on how to stake, how to start earning, and then also going through all of our extra programs like the Anchor Club to really make it digestible and allow everyone to be able to understand. From a user standpoint, I say that is the easiest way. We also have our Discord community. So anyone who comes in with questions, we have our teams on there, always very active, as well as moderators and other community members who are always happy to help out and answer questions. And it's also just fun to hang out in there. We have a lot of fun in there. So anyone who wants to join, always good to have them in there. And then as for any partners who want to come on, as Austin said earlier, we do have a partnership form in our docs, but we're also open on all channels. So if you want to come in through, I know sometimes XDMs can be easiest, Farcaster DMs, you can do that as well. Or we also have a ticketing system in our Discord for any partners who want to come in, and we can get them a direct chat with the team to see what we can do and how it'll work best.
Yeah, I feel like having a pop in Discord, that's kind of an essential component of like any DeFi project. Like everyone just lives on Discord, you guys, and a lot of great resources. If you want to connect with different folks on the team and in the community, highly recommend jumping in the Discord for Hydrex. Now, you guys, we are like at the end of the year here, end of 2025. I'm curious if you guys want to share any milestones you're proud of from this year and what you guys are looking ahead towards in 2026. We touched on that briefly, but anything in general you guys are excited about?
So much to be excited about. Yeah, I feel like Hydrex over the last 3 months since we launched in mid-September, which is, I think the protocol went live September 18th, so exactly 3 months from today, or almost exactly 3 months from today. We've had way more traction and way more demand than what we were originally expecting. It definitely exceeded our expectations. I feel like looking back then at now, we would be very, very happy with the end result. It seems like we really struck a chord with the Omni liquidity setup, which I feel like confuses a lot of people, and we probably need to work on the branding a little bit. But basically, we allow anybody to add liquidity to Hydrex, whether it's through Uniswap or Euler or Morpho. And Uni, or not Uni, but Omni liquidity is slowly starting to outpace the core Hydrex liquidity. I think we just crossed $5 million in Omni liquidity today, which
Let's
is
go.
really great.
That's a big milestone right there.
Yeah, and something we, just launched as more of a side experiment. So I definitely see that as a success case and a milestone we're super proud of, and something that I would expect us to lean more into as we get into 2026. I have this vision of these gauge types where people can have kind of, once again, this composable, integratable structure in DeFi, where anybody who needs liquidity for whatever their service is can create a standardized gauge and tap into the liquidity that Hydrex offers. So I definitely see that growing. I see us leaning more into our surge mechanics with the manual incentives. There's definitely some improvements and some optimizations we can make there, both from being really, really capitally efficient with the issuance of the incentives, and then also the user experience. Once again, always trying to accommodate users who might not be super sophisticated participants, but still wanna utilize Hydrex. So yeah, I think
That's why you guys said
2025 has been.
Hydrex is for everyone.
It
Hydrex is for
is, yeah.
everyone.
Hydrex is certainly for everyone, whether you're talking about the liquidity layer or whether you're talking about the end user. We're trying to build infrastructure that's usable by just about everyone, whether it's base or beyond. But yeah, I think super excited for all of those things in the pipeline. We're putting a lot of groundwork in. The team has grown from what was originally just three of us, myself, Jimbo, and our third co-founder, Travis, to now 9 people. So we're, building, creating jobs on base. We're building on base. We're bringing more people into the DeFi ecosystem and Hydrex. and looking forward to scaling that even further as we grow in 2026.
Let's go. Well, you guys are absolutely crushing it. And I feel like the mind share, right, of Hydrex on base has just grown and grown so exponentially since I first even heard of you guys. I just see Hydrex pop up a lot more these days. So I think clearly you guys are doing a lot of things right. You're collaborating with good people. You got Toady Hawk and Betterment over here. You know, Toadie's going and putting his life savings in like earlier today. So it's been, you're attracting
Life
really good
savings.
people.
What could go wrong?
Thought that was just your hot wallet.
You guys don't keep your life savings in your hot wallet? You're not even living.
What are you doing?
Don't
You
do that.
really
Not
like living
financial
on the
advice.
edge.
Not
Yeah,
financial advice.
seriously.
By the way, I have a separate side
The
question. I'm so
disclaimers.
sorry, Toady. Look, you have some like OG base merch there. Like I actually my first episode of my
This one?
podcast, yeah,
Yeah.
I interviewed Jesse and Jesse had that shirt and like so many people have commented since then. Where can I get this shirt? Where is it?
I don't even remember where I got it. If I'm honest, it was an On-Chain Summer shop, I think, from the first
Okay,
for the
good
second
to
On-Chain
know.
Summer.
That's some OG merch. And speaking of merch, you guys, we are doing a giveaway today of some Hydrex merch. And if you haven't retweeted the room, followed myself, On-Chain Media, Hydrex, and our man Toady here, go ahead and take a moment to do that because we are selecting a lucky winner. Or are we doing more than one winner? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Five
we're doing
winners.
The more the better.
5? We're
And-
doing
Yeah.
5. Okay.
Surge
And you
to
can just
everyone.
unfollow me after the draw. Like follow all these
Yeah.
people, but then just after one
Okay.
button.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
Gotta
Well,
follow Toady.
I see we got Callie out there, Pixel. We got some folks that are retweeting the stream. Thank you guys. And, the fact that we have hundreds of people here live today, I know, we're coming up on the holidays. So the fact that you guys are taking the time to be here with us today and learn about Hydrex, I just want to thank all of you out there tuning in. And yeah, let's go ahead real quick. I see a question from Callie. I guess this was back when we were talking about the creator coins earlier. He said, so staking creator coins, would this benefit more of those with more? Sorry, let me rephrase the question. So staking creator coins would benefit those with greater following, correct? I don't know necessarily because you could do well on a creator coin and have other elements than your following, right?
Yeah. I mean, in general, like there probably is a correlation between the size of somebody's following and the market cap of somebody's creator coin, but that is by far not the only factor.
Yeah.
There's lots of factors that go into it, and I actually think Hydrex tries to create a level playing field because we offer the same liquidity opportunities to creators regardless of their coin size. So if you could be a small creator, but if you're really committed to growing your liquidity depth and focused on some DeFi and more creative things, as Tody has mentioned a few times, and ways to leverage your token that might not be super standard or using some out of the box thinking, you can certainly maximize the benefits from a tokenomics perspective without needing a massive following.
I agree. And there's more variables and factors other than following. Like there's social capital, there's commitment, like you were saying, being committed to it. There are people who show up and do a lot of impactful work and they might not have the biggest following, but like I've seen, certain folks be successful with their creator coins. Also, I think another thing, a big component here, Callie, is collaborating with other creators, like cross-pollination, networking, and collaborating with other brands as well. I think that's something that really helps the ecosystem as well. Well, I do want to bring it back over to the Hydrex team here. If there's anything else you guys want to cover today, is there anything we're missing here? Anything you guys want to share for the new year? Anything you're excited about? Anything we didn't cover yet?
One thing, I think I brushed over a question you had earlier on about the UX and how we track everything on chain. And definitely wanted to give Glee some time to talk about this because I know him and our other founder, Travis, put a lot of time into making the Hydrex UX one of a kind and really improving on what was currently available in DeFi. So I know if anyone's used the V33 protocol, there's a lot going on under the hood, and especially for users too. Especially if you're new coming in, there's a lot of little pieces that's really hard to understand, a lot of language that's not very familiar. But before we launched Hydrex, we really took it top down to see how we can improve and streamline that for users, as well as how we can incorporate everything on base to make the UX as seamless as possible, which was done with, Flash blocks, batch transactions, sub accounts, everything that Base had to offer, we implemented. And it's really made it so new users can come in and earn easier. And it's also an ongoing thing. As we go into 2026, we're still committed to making it as easy as possible for users to get in, to understand what's going on, to iron out all the kinks. And that's one thing we're really focused on too, is just, even though we put a lot of work into the product, finding how we can refine that through feedback and our own testing to really just make it the best DEX user experience on Base.
Yeah,
Rachel?
great point. I think.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
I didn't want to interrupt.
I think, Jimbo, you bring up a really good point. We rebuilt the front end from the ground up, like not even using standard packages. Like, a lot of people use plug and play wallets, or they use other sort of out of the box things. Our front end guru, Travis, our third co-founder, built the entire thing from the ground up to be hyper optimized for Base and plug in every piece of Base tooling. So I really think, to a large extent, that is our secret sauce, because one, we don't have any technical debt of forking from an existing repository and then trying to bring that in. And two, the whole thing is hyper customized for Hydrex and our growth trajectory. So we can move really, really quickly. And I think kind of the proof is in the pudding over the last 8 weeks. Once again, going back to the original announcement of the Surge article in mid-October till now, we've shipped Anchor Club, we've shipped the actual Surge itself, we've put the strategic protocol reserve to work, we've just executed again and again and again. And I think we're moving at a pace that, while we might not, I think Brian Armstrong has a really good phrasing. He always says action produces information, and we firmly, firmly believe in that. And we're just going to move as fast as we need to move, obviously, like moving strategically and securely along the way with audits and all of that stuff, but moving fast on the parts where we can, to get to the best end result, figure out where we need to evolve from there, and realize like this crypto space is just such a quick paced industry that we have to move in that direction. So we're cooking as fast as we can, and we look forward to continue shipping.
I love that. And something you mentioned about consistently shipping, I think that's so key in this space, because, you don't end up stuck in like this stagnated, like kind of decision paralysis. You guys just get together and you execute and you keep moving forward. And I think that's a very important trait to have as a team in this space.
Well, a lot of times when people launch tokens, it's a mass extraction event, and then you never see the team again. So it's nice to see teams actually launching a token that they use in their app. Crazy idea, I know.
It's crazy, yeah. Giving a token some real utility. It's
Rachel,
idea for most.
I was wondering if you wanted me to share my screen quickly, because I was just, as we were chatting, I went to check my Hydrex terminal just to see the rewards that I've earned from this week, and maybe it would be helpful for people to see what's possible.
Absolutely.
I don't mind
Great
sharing.
Idea.
So this is just, I'm pretty sure 1 week of rewards for the liquidity that we've set up with their help for Better. So as you can see, over $1,300 in rewards, and that's coming to me in a combination of tokens. So it's partially in the Hydrex, which they spoke about earlier, which is like an option to buy Hydrex. And then I guess there's no OP there
So
yet,
I
but
think-
there probably will be OP, right? I think as well, Adam?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks like most of the values accrued in OHYDX.
Mhm.
We use an incentive distribution tool, so some of those other tokens might just be from your general DeFi activity. We pull through any rewards, whether they're Hydrex or not, on that particular address.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, as you can see, like $1,200 in LPing. I mean, Better ETH is super high APR LP right now. So people who want to get into one of the best farms, that's certainly on the table.
Cool. Yeah, I just figured I'd share, because sometimes people see these things and they're like, yeah, sure, it's too complicated, it's not worth it. You're probably talking about pennies, but if you've got a token that does decent volume and has a community, it's worthwhile. And you're also building up your own liquidity for the project at the same time. So
Absolutely. And I want to welcome folks who are out there. I mean, thank you, Tody, for like helping folks to visualize how to do this here. If anybody out there watching has staked, I'm paying attention. I'm looking for people who are doing the giveaway, following, retweeting the stream, and staking and sharing your screenshot that you've done it on Hydrex. So looking through here and looking to pick a winner, you guys. While I'm doing that, Glee, why don't we go over the strategic protocol reserve?
Oh, my favorite subject.
Here we go.
All
Strap
right,
in,
all right,
everybody.
buckle up. Yeah. No, I mean, we've seen it in DeFi since DeFi has existed, right? We have a lot of protocols who issue incentives through an inflationary token, and ultimately that inflation catches up with the protocol and hurts the protocol and the token. And there's no value accrual mechanism to be super long-term minded to make sure that you're not inflating yourself into a death spiral. Is sort of like one of the big problems we came into designing Hydrex's tokenomics with, right? We've seen it all the time. Hyperinflationary financial systems, whether it's Zimbabwe or Argentina, or whether it's a yield farm and a DeFi protocol, just break down over the long term. That's just like a rule of thumb. So, how we've designed Hydrex is instead of issuing the Hydrex token directly as a reward for users, we issue what we call O Hydrex or options Hydrex, which is an options token and it allows the user two options. For no cost, they can lock it up into the protocol and they can start earning through Hydrex's rev share model right away. So, you option one, no cost, become a participant, which is that long-term alignment, that behavior that we're trying to encourage. Or if you would like to exit the system and you would like to get the liquid version of Hydrex out, you have to pay 30% of the market value of that Hydrex. You're exercising that options token, you're exercising that coupon in USDC to acquire that Hydrex out. So if I put in one O Hydrex and 30% of the value of one Hydrex in USDC, I get one liquid Hydrex out. What that means is for every token that we emit, we are clawing some value back into the protocol, and we're accruing all of that value into a long-term communal incentive pool called the Strategic Protocol Reserve, which ensures that we never have a token go into circulation without some value coming back into the protocol. So to date, right now, the Strategic Protocol Reserve is sitting right below $1 million, about $900,000. And you can think of it as like a friendly LP. It's a friendly ecosystem participant who stakes their liquidity in blue chip assets like USDC, CBBTC, Wrapped ETH, and generates yield for all of our token holders and all of our voters. So basically, the system it kind of completes this loop, right? Because the emissions token is not only used to lock and create voting power so you can earn yield, but it's also a revenue mechanism so that the protocol constantly has a stream of incentives going into it so that we can have long-term yield for our users because we put those incentives to work for our users. What that means is over the long term, the goal isn't to be hyperinflationary forever. Inflation is definitely a double-edged sword, right? To one degree, it's like one of the best catalysts in crypto. Even from the foundation of the Bitcoin blockchain, inflation was like a core principle to encourage people to mine the Bitcoin blockchain and utilize Bitcoin. And Bitcoin would not exist without inflation. So it's definitely a valid tool. But in excess and for too long, it ends up being the killer of a lot of protocols. So we've baked in this inherent mechanism to make sure value is being captured for every token we emit, and that value is being redistributed to all of our voters. And the goal is to capture enough value so that we no longer need to emit Hydrex tokens. And instead of voters voting on where the emissions of new Hydrex tokens go, they now vote on where the Strategic Protocol Reserve capital gets allocated so that they can earn yield in a new way. So over time, we'll see emissions and renting liquidity become less and less important, and owning liquidity through the Strategic Protocol Reserve becoming more and more important and more of a yield generator. It's obviously it's going to take some time, but I think Airdrome is my favorite example. If they had used this model and clawed back 30% of the value that they have emitted over the last 2 years, they would have a strategic protocol reserve of $250 million, which is basically all of their useful TVL in their entire protocol, right? So I think
Wow.
this is a super valid mechanic, and obviously that's hyper ambitious, but it's the right framework and it's the right incentive alignment to get us to a sustainable place long term, so we don't have to constantly be worried about emitting new Hydrex tokens.
Wow, I love that, Glee. I feel like I need to do an entire new episode just on that just strategic protocol reserve. I feel like you could probably go continue with that and go deeper. So yeah, awesome. Love to hear it. And you guys, if you're in the comments and you have any questions, if you want to ask Glee, Austin, or Jimbo anything, and we got our man Toady over here. If you got any questions around Betterment, feel free to drop them in the comments. I know we also wanted to touch on the data dashboard OP incentives. We got a lot of ground to cover here today, you guys. So Jimbo, do you want to touch on the data dashboard?
Yeah, so the data dashboard actually works well with the SPR. So this is one of the biggest things we had with
Do
the
we want to
surge.
show it maybe as well?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me pull it up. And it looks really nice with the dark mode as we were showing off. So when you're on the Hydrex page, if you've used it before, you'll notice since yesterday we have this new analytics tab pop up. So clicking on that pulls up all of the data of the protocol that we've worked to have not only showcased very easily for people to see, but also updates in real time. So as the weeks go on, this will all update to show how everything's going with the protocol. So you can see, what the TBL is, also the SPR value, the fees, the earning power. And you can also go through and break everything down in terms of revenue, emissions, and here you can see where that strategic protocol reserve is at, as well as what the breakdown of it is, which is really cool, all interactive. You can even go back through past weeks to see how it's grown week by week, which is a really cool breakdown to see. And we also go through with the token itself, as Glee was saying, as we have the option token, there's a lot of different ways people can either lock it up or it can be locked through Anchor Club. So we have that full breakdown here as well that people can go in to see week by week how that's increasing since we added the Anchor Club, since we did all these other things. So I know it's a lot here, and obviously people can go and look through it on their own because it would be a whole stream of itself for us to walk through each one. But yeah, it's just really awesome to see this all in one place because the beautiful thing about on chain is all that data is out there, but trying to get it in one place and visualize is a whole nother story. So it's really awesome to see the team be able to pull this together, and it's something we're going to be adding to as well as Hydrex grows. You just
And
have
it,
all of
it
our
just
data
looks really
points.
good as well. Like the UI, the UX, everything just looks very sleek and yeah, just very visually appealing for something like this. You guys have really accomplished a lot here.
Thank you. Yeah, Glee, I don't know if you want to speak to anything else. I know you were one of the main ones working on it.
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for the UI UX. I did all the data engineering in the background. Our other co-founder, Travis, improvises a lot of his UI UX, which we found to be more efficient than like having a formal design process. He's just really good at it. He kind of designs as he goes. But yeah, I think it's a really nice breakdown of every key pillar of the protocol and being able to get helpful insight to understand the health of the protocol, general analytics. I mean, people care about how much revenue the protocol is generating versus what the total amount of emissions it's providing. They care about how much voting power is in the system. And we've tried to share as much data as possible. At the end of the day, it just plays into our larger thesis. We want to put the user and the consumer first, and we want to equip them with as much information as they possibly can have to make sure they're making adequate decisions and let the numbers speak for themselves and then make their own conclusions based off of that.
Well, I love it. I think this is incredible what you guys have been able to accomplish. And real quick, I don't know if we touched on this, but how long has Hydrex been around?
So
So
we started in June building a go-to-market campaign where we
June of
actually
this
gave
year?
June of this year, yeah.
Wow,
We started
okay.
with a pre-TGE, pre-protocol live go-to-market campaign. And we basically integrated a badge program where you could do over 50 different activities on base and receive a small portion of Hydrex voting power allocation as a result for that activity on base. So this could be anything from having a base name to clanking a coin to deploying a creator coin to more custom integrations with specific NFT communities and specific protocols. We ran that for about 2 to 3 months to build an initial user base and get people interested in Hydrex. And then in mid-September, we launched the token and launched the protocol. So fully live for about 3 months, but working on it for about 6.
Well, that just blew me away. Honestly, if you guys would have said last year, or even 2 years ago, like I feel like you guys have really that just is another testament to the fact that you guys are just constantly shipping and progressing. And the fact that you've been able to do this in this year alone is just very impressive. And yeah, just hats off to you guys for the mind share you've been able to create on base in that time. I know we also wanted to touch as well on the OP incentives. Jimbo, Glee, Austin, I don't know who wants to take this one, but I feel like there's probably a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, more than happy to start on that. And one thing too, when you were talking about how much we've shipped and how much we've done, it's been 3 months. It honestly feels like 3 years. It's crazy just how fast and
It's
also slow
crazy.
time is.
Wow. I'm
What-
really blown away at that. Like, I didn't know that. I thought you guys were around for a minute. Wow.
I know it's always like a time machine when you're working, especially in DeFi and just crypto in general. Things change so
Like
fast.
two
There's always new
years or
stuff
3
coming
months?
out.
3 months
I
can
know
feel like 2 years.
exactly. And one thing we've started to do based on community feedback is keep a weekly, almost like change log of everything the team has done, broken down by department. And so I believe Glee's going to be posting that in our Discord and probably on X after this live stream. But it's also just crazy too when you look back, 'cause, a week will pass and be like, what did we do? It just goes by so quick, and then you see the breakdown. It's like, oh yeah, we did do a crazy amount of stuff just last week.
I
So
need
I
that
know,
too.
it feels
That's,
like
that's why I
we're-
need to do a newsletter. I'm like, I'm not do so
Yeah,
much.
there
I need
you
to
go.
I need to write it down, and then I can go back and be like, oh
No
yeah, I did
joke.
that thing like 2 weeks ago.
It's so funny. Yeah, it feels like you're doing so much, but never enough at the same time.
Yeah, constantly. This space is always on. We got the holidays here, Christmas next week. We're still showing up today, you guys. We're having the Hydrex
Absolutely.
Surge live stream party. And yeah, there are a lot of shows, by the way, you guys. After this, I'm actually going to Kokoro. If you guys know Own the Doge, the company that stewards the Doge IP, the photo of the Doge IP. And then Monday, if you guys know Coco Codes, I'm doing a little holiday party space with Everybody Needs Base and On-Chain Media. So if you guys want to pull up on Monday, would love to have all of you there, everyone tuning in, and of course, all of our speakers here today. Okay, so that being said, you guys, I know we've been going for a while here. Is there anything else on the Hydrex side? Anything we didn't cover? Any calls to action? I'm thinking for the giveaway, guys, why don't we run this for a minute? Why don't we keep this going maybe for the next week, until next week? Because I think still people need some time to go and stake. And maybe we do another show or another demo and get more folks doing it, like a live onboarding.
Yeah, more than happy to. We can see who's interacted throughout the stream, because definitely want to reward the people who've been here and been here for the whole time. But yeah, we can see about over the next couple days too. Always a good holiday gift to give someone a Hydrex Surge sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing also wanted to touch on, and I know I've been talking a lot, so Austin, if you want to chime in at all, always feel free to. But with the OP incentives that we touched on, so one of our biggest milestones, we received an official Optimism Foundation growth grant to help increase TVL on Hydrex.
Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty crazy to get it and see our name up there. Definitely didn't think we would get it within the first few months. But with that, it goes specifically to helping increase TVL and CB assets on Hydrex, as well as some select stablecoin pairs. So if you're on the Hydrex site, you'll see on some of the pools the little red OP token. So on those, you actually earn dual rewards for staking. So those just went live with the Surge yesterday. So even better time to get into Hydrex for everyone who's looking to start doing some liquidity provision, get some CB assets, and start earning some dual rewards. So yeah, it's been really exciting to have that go live.
You guys have so much. I'm just going to go back. Shout out to my clipper, Galgi, on my team. We're just going to go back and clip so much of this up. You guys shared so many gems today, and I don't want anybody to miss any of this information. I know we've done a bit of a longer stream today, but thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Callie, I see Easton out there. Pixel, shout out to the whole community who's showing up nonstop. You guys, the on-chain media community, I've recently just seen them so active, so engaged. And I think that goes to show, like, whether the market is up or down, like, the community is everything, right? Like, and I do see a lot of excitement in the community around Hydrex. So I think you guys are very clearly doing the right things. You got Toady over here coming on today. We got a lot of the community very excited. So yeah, I don't know if we want to go around and maybe talk about what we're excited for the next year, or like what's next for Hydrex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can start from the BD perspective. From the partnership standpoint, over just finishing, really starting and finishing Q4 very strong with over 30 partners coming in, about 3 protocol integrations. So, that's over 3 months with a lot of other focuses that we've had. And, if we annualize that into 2026, I think that alone is just going to be a great year if we're bringing over 100 partners over to the Hydrex ecosystem, maybe doing close to a dozen protocol integrations in terms of setting up different liquidity solutions. I think that's going to be a very, very exciting year for us. And I'm sure, I think for us and for me in particular, I'm excited to get more different funds, more partnerships into those different types of LP pools and really tap into the surge. I think we have a little bit of crazy APRs at the moment for some of the different LP pools. And so just being able to fill up those LP pools, being able to generate more volume and in turn fees, which is going to kick back to the Hydrex stakers. So I think that's what I'm most excited about in the next year.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, being on the BD team of Hydrex must be just a field day. Sounds like a lot of fun. I have a background doing BD for many years, and this just sounds like fun.
Oh, it's a great time. I will say I'm glad I like to talk because I do end up on quite a few calls every day. Like today, I think it was 8 a.m. and it's going to go till about 3:30. So always a
I
chance
know those.
to meet
I know
new
those
folks.
days all too well. I know those days all too well. Well, Austin, clearly you as well are doing really incredible work to expand the ecosystem. I think the BD efforts of any project, it's very important, right? Who you're connecting with, how you're expanding, making strategic decisions to grow the protocol, and connect with other projects. So hats off to you, Austin. Thank you for the work you do. And I want to hear from Glee and Jimbo. I know we got so much coming up. But as far as what's next for Hydrex, what are you guys most excited about?
I'm always on the product side, so I'm always thinking like, all right, how do we make the product better? How do we make it easier to use? What are the next major milestones? What are the next major improvements? I think as we kind of started this live stream out with, the surge is shipped, and now it's how do we optimize the surge to get the most out of it? We've really restructured our fundamental architecture on how Hydrex works and how Hydrex sources liquidity. And now that we have it out the door, it's a matter of optimizing it, making sure that every dollar of emissions is bringing in the most dollar of TVL and fees for the voters as possible, and making Hydrex as efficient of a protocol as possible. So there's a lot of like less sexy but very necessary cleanup and optimization work that we need to do that I think will really turn Hydrex from this small protocol into a primitive that people can plug into on base. Um, that's going to be a lot of things like data analytics and figuring out how we emit these incentives and tinkering with things and finding optimizations. That's going to be feature improvements so that end users can come in and have a better understanding of how to provide liquidity and what's going to be the best ROI for them, along with many other things. And then BD ends up being the lifeblood of protocols a lot of times. So we're very adaptive to what BD brings to the table. Like Austin mentioned, lots of other protocol integrations are planned and in the pipeline, and we're excited to get those out the door. Wanting to adapt ourselves to be once again, a more generalized liquidity hub. So it's more plug and play instead of Hydrex being this gatekeeper on who can use us and who can't. It's more like, hey, if you do the work to integrate and you meet criteria A, B, and C, you have access to our incentives if you can encourage people to vote on your gauge at the end of the day. So I think those are our two main growth levers as we start to get into Q1 2026. Broader and more permissionless integrations, because that's just the way crypto and DeFi works. And then two, optimization and refinement of what currently exists on Hydrex.
That's incredible. Well, you guys have a very clear vision, roadmap, and I feel like all the components of what you need to build a successful project. You got Austin over here crushing it on the BD side, Glee on the product. We have Jimbo here who's helping to grow the ecosystem, setting up community engagements like this. So, Jimbo, seeing you, I feel like you've really put a priority on the community, right, to help grow Hydrex. So, Jimbo, do you want to take us home here on what you're most excited about for Hydrex moving forward?
Definitely. Yeah, we've learned a lot in 2025 since launch about the growth and the marketing side. As Glee said, before we even launched, we plugged into dozens of base communities to help get them into Hydrex. That's always been a forefront for us, is just collaboration and growing with other people, as we've done with Better. We're going to continue to do. I know me and Tony have been talking about some more activations we can do. So I think too, as as BD starts partnering with all these projects, it's how can we bring everyone in? How can we all thrive together? Get that cross community in, and keep going that way, and also just unlocking more distribution channels. I think on Base there's just so much that Base is bringing people on chain, from not only from like the normie world, but from other chains as well. As you've seen, like the Solana integration, we saw the Tron integration today. And the biggest thing is just how do we get in front of those people, show them what Hydrex is, get them on board. And I know too, one of our main distribution channels is through Spindle, which is a Coinbase acquired marketing company.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Yeah, they've done great work, and we've been talking about how we can best position Hydrex within the Base app specifically, to really be a forefront of that and just be able to get in front of as many users there as well. We're also exploring some more distribution channels they have. So really excited from the marketing and growth side for 2026, and yeah, we're just going to keep building.
Well, let's go, Jimbo. You have been crushing it. You've just been such a big proponent of the Base community, showing up, taking the time to connect with me, and I'm so grateful to be collaborating with you guys. I'm excited to do more content. I would love to do more content around Hydrex, and of course, Tody, it's always a pleasure jamming with you on content and producing media. Do we have any final calls to actions here? I know we've been going for a while. I want to give you guys maybe a half hour back here. We do have the holidays happening. We have our giveaway happening. I say, guys, we keep that going maybe for the next week or until early next week. What do you guys think? So we can get more folks staking.
Yeah, let's get people staking.
Let's do
Excited
it.
to see people
Yeah,
get some
I mean,
Sage
hey,
shirts.
this is a one-time thing, 5 of 5. Very
5 of 5, you
rare
guys.
piece of merch. So yeah, I feel like a couple promos and getting the word out about this drop would certainly help.
I got a
thought we
freebie.
lost Austin there for a second.
I got a freebie. I got a freebie for the Hydrex guys. So when I shared the space, I said I was hanging out with Rachel and the Hydrex homies, and it just came to me. But I think it's pretty good. You should use it for your community.
Hydrex
know-
homies. I mean,
Hydrex homies.
Hydrex
Yeah.
homies.
You know that-
I like it.
Discord channel.
You guys
I
know
like
that
it.
like old Reddit meme, right? The Hydro homies meme. There's like a subreddit. If not, you gotta go
Yeah, I
look it
do
up.
actually.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, you guys, we have covered
like it.
so much incredible information today on Hydrex. I hope all of you that have tuned in have followed Hydrex. Definitely stay tapped into what they're doing. It's going to be a very big year for Base and for Hydrex in 2026. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun, you guys. Love doing the longer live streams, and Hydrex is just such an incredible project. And Tody, I definitely want to jam on getting our podcast on a better, man.
Yeah, let's do it. And if anyone is looking for more information on Betterment, I'll allow myself a quick show, which is that I just posted a pinned tweet, which is our like quarterly report for the last 3 months of what we've been up to. So if you do want to learn about it and go and slap me with one of those congratulations or I'm sorry that happened, because it's a pretty long one, you can find out everything you need to know about Betterment right there.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the time today, you guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And from the Hydrex side, Glee, Jimbo, Austin, you guys have any closing thoughts or final words before we drop?
Yeah, just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Hope everyone has happy holidays. And yeah, there's never been a better time to get into Hydrex, get in on the surge, get in on some earnings. And yeah, Austin, Glee, you guys have anything else you want to say?
There's never
No,
been a better
appreciate-
time to get into Hydrex.
Never
You heard it
been
here
a better
first.
There you
time.
go.
Circle.
That's
Boom.
right.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah, that's it. That's you
Yeah.
guys.
Drop the
Oh my
mic.
God. Mic
Drop the
drop.
mic, walk away.
Well, this has been a blast, you guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, for everyone tuning in, we'll see you on the next show that we have with Kokoro here on Leashed. And then next week, you guys, Everybody Needs Base and On-Chain Media. We are doing a holiday party on Monday. If anybody wants to pull up, would love to have all of you here, the Hydrex homies and the Better homies, if you guys want to come. All right. Thanks, everybody.